Let's jump right in. Welcome to The Explainer. If you've ever felt just, completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of AI information out there, or maybe you've built a Python AI tool that almost instantly morphed into an unreadable mess of code, well, you're in the exact right place. Today, we're walking through a complete end-to-end blueprint. We're going to start with a strategy to efficiently learn machine learning from scratch, and then scale all the way up to writing clean, modular, production-ready Python code for complex AI agents. Okay, here's our agenda for today. 1. The 80-20 AI rule. 2. Your 30-day ML roadmap. 3. The spaghetti code trap. 4. Pragmatic clean architecture. 5. The 4 virtual layers. And finally, 6. Avoiding common AI mistakes. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The 80-20 AI rule. Accelerate your mastery. Look, stepping into machine learning can literally feel like drinking from a fire hose. But what if mastering AI didn't actually have to take years of effort? Honestly, acquiring these skills efficiently could even open doors for you to compete in massive events. Like, her sources mention a recent virtual hackathon hosted by OPIC, Google DeepMind, and Vercel. They had a massive $30,000 prize pool just for building and shipping AI agents. The opportunities are absolutely huge if you know exactly where to focus your energy.
So, the secret to this kind of speed is the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. It basically states that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your effort. In machine learning, your 20% effort should be laser-focused on the fundamentals. I'm talking about linear algebra, like matrices and dot products, calculus for optimization techniques, things like gradient descent, core statistics, and, of course, Python. By mastering foundational Python libraries, NumPy, Pandas, scikit-learn, you're going to see a disproportionate, massive return on your learning investment. Section 2. Your 30-day ML roadmap, from zero to regression.
So how do we actually structure that learning? Well, building your machine learning brain requires a really structured step-by-step approach. You can't just cherry-pick random tutorials and expect it all to miraculously click. You need a solid timeline. Let's see how this builds over the first 6 days of a targeted 30-day roadmap. Day 1 is pure theory, just understanding supervised versus unsupervised learning. Day 2, Python basics, variables, loops, functions. By day 3, you're installing NumPy for arrays and Pandas for data manipulation. Day 4 brings all that data to life visually using Matplotlib and Seaborn. And by days 5 and 6, you are officially building predictive models. You're diving into linear regression for continuous data and logistic regression for classification tasks. It is rapid, it is focused, and it absolutely works for sure. Section 3. The spaghetti code trap. When flexibility fails. Let's say you've completed your roadmap. Fast forwarded a few months and you're building real AI tools. Suddenly, you hit a wall. You run into the messy reality of applying these skills at scale. You've entered the spaghetti code trap. You see, Python's greatest strength is also kind of its biggest weakness: extreme flexibility. It lets you build absolutely anything. But when you're building complex AI applications, like agents orchestrated with frameworks like LangGraph, well, that flexibility puts all the architectural responsibility directly on you. Without proper design, your project degrades so fast into spaghetti code. It just becomes a tangled, rigid nightmare to maintain or update. Section 4. Pragmatic clean architecture. The middle ground. So how do we fix this tangled mess? Most advice out there falls into two extremes: either highly specific templates that lock you into one single tool, or dogmatic, rigid frameworks originally meant for Java that just bloat your Python code. We need a better way. Enter what software engineer Paul Eusting calls pragmatic clean architecture. This is a tool-agnostic middle ground. It's a loose version of clean architecture that avoids all of that unnecessary bloat, giving you just enough structure to keep your codebase modular, flexible, testable, and most importantly, maintainable. A brilliant mental model for this comes directly from our sources, comparing this clean architecture to running a professional kitchen. Abstract software concepts can, cause headaches, but we all understand how a restaurant cooks and serves food. And we know exactly how quickly a kitchen falls apart if the prep cook suddenly starts trying to plate the meals. Let's break down exactly what this means for our code. Section 5. The 4 virtual layers. Building your kitchen. All right, let's step through these layers one by one. First up is the domain layer. Think of these as your pure ingredients. In an AI project, this inner core holds your business objects, like defining an article or a context using a data validation library like Pydantic. It also holds your nodes, which are specific units of logic, like an article writer node that contains a prompt. The absolute crucial thing to remember here is that the domain layer is pure. It knows absolutely nothing about databases, APIs, or specific large language models. Next, we have the application layer. This is your recipe. This layer takes your ingredients and orchestrates them into an actual business use case. Using tools like LangGraph, this layer dictates the sequence of events. It basically says, okay, first research the topic, then write the draft, then review it. Surrounding that recipe is the infrastructure layer, or your kitchen equipment. This is the concrete code that actually talks to the outside world. Your specific calls to OpenAI or Google's Gemini, your connections to a Postgres database, or maybe a local Markdown loader. Because your recipe and your ingredients are kept totally separate from the equipment, you can literally swap a gas stove for an electric one, or, swap Gemini for a local AI model without changing a single line of your core business logic. Finally, we reach the serving layer. This is the plating and delivery of the food. It's how the outside world interacts with your application. You could be serving your AI workflow through a command line interface, a REST API, or an MCP, Model Context Protocol server. The beauty here is that the exact same backend workflow can be served simultaneously to a terminal or to an AI coding assistant like Cursor. So, the crucial point is how all of this connects chronologically during a single request. When a user asks the AI to, say, generate a report, the request hits the serving layer. The server reads the configuration and triggers a builder. That builder grabs the necessary infrastructure, like the Gemini model and the database, and literally injects them into the application layer. Then the application orchestrates the sequence, passing data down to the domain nodes, which do the actual pure logic using those injected tools. This decoupling and polymorphism, meaning the ability to easily swap those infrastructure pieces in and out, is the secret sauce to a codebase that doesn't just immediately fall apart. Section 6. Avoiding common AI mistakes. Don't over-engineer.
Now, before you run off and rewrite your entire codebase, we really need to talk about the pitfalls. Even with good intentions, it is very easy to misapply these principles. Here are the 3 biggest mistakes developers make. Number 1, rigid layer folders. These layers we just discussed, they're virtual concepts. They are not physical folders you must rigidly create in your directory. Forcing every single file into domain or infrastructure folders just leads to circular imports and massive confusion. Number 2, scattering actionability. Don't put all your prompts in one folder and all your chains in another. Group your code by features, like modular Lego bricks, so a single feature's logic lives together. And number 3, over-engineering. Please don't build massive abstractions for scenarios that might happen just in case. If you never actually plan to swap your Postgres database for MySQL, don't waste your time decoupling it. Delete useless abstractions and just be pragmatic.
Which leaves us with one final question. Now that you have the 80/20 learning roadmap to master the basics and the pragmatic clean architecture to build professional systems, what is your next code base going to look like? Will it be modular, testable, and ready to scale, or will it be just another tangled mess of spaghetti? The choice is entirely in your hands, and you now have the exact blueprint to do it right. Take these concepts, apply them to your own work, and watch your AI projects completely transform. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep building.